For years, one of the biggest promises of technology was that it would make things cheaper. Software reduced costs. Automation improved efficiency. Digital products eliminated physical expenses. And as technology advanced, many consumers assumed prices would eventually fall. After all, if companies could do more with less, shouldn't customers benefit too? But something strange has happened. Many of the biggest technology companies in the world have been raising prices. Streaming subscriptions cost more. Cloud services cost more. Software subscriptions cost more. Smartphones cost more. Digital services cost more. Even products that exist entirely online seem to become more expensive every year. And that raises an important question. If technology is supposed to create efficiency, why does big tech keep raising prices? The answer is more complicated than most people realize. Because the biggest reason isn't inflation. It isn't greed. And it isn't simply because companies think they can get away with it. The real reason is that the economics of technology are changing. For years, many technology companies focused almost entirely on growth. The goal was simple: get as many users as possible, expand rapidly, build market share, and worry about profits later. This strategy dominated Silicon Valley for more than a decade. Companies offered low prices, free services, discounted subscriptions, and aggressive promotions. Growth mattered more than profitability. Investors supported this approach because interest rates were low and capital was abundant. As long as users kept coming, companies could continue expanding. But that environment has changed. Today, investors are asking different questions. Instead of asking how many users a company has, they're asking how much profit each user generates. Instead of rewarding growth at any cost, they're rewarding sustainable business models. That shift has forced many technology companies to rethink pricing. The era of prioritizing growth above everything else is ending, and customers are starting to feel the effects. Another reason prices keep rising is that technology itself is becoming more expensive to operate. Many consumers assume digital products are inexpensive because they don't require physical inventory. But modern technology companies maintain enormous infrastructure: data centers, cloud networks, cybersecurity systems, software development teams, global operations, and increasingly, advanced computing resources. These costs continue rising, particularly as technology becomes more sophisticated. The average consumer never sees this infrastructure. They only see the app, the website, or the subscription fee. But behind those products sits a vast network of systems that require continuous investment. And someone ultimately pays for that investment. Increasingly, it's the customer. The subscription economy is another major factor. Years ago, businesses often sold products once. Today, many technology companies prefer recurring revenue, monthly subscriptions, annual memberships, premium tiers, additional features. Why? Because predictable revenue is extremely valuable. Investors love recurring income. Businesses love recurring income. And recurring income creates stability. The result is that companies are constantly searching for opportunities to increase subscription revenue. A small price increase multiplied across millions of subscribers can generate enormous amounts of money. That's why subscription prices often rise gradually over time. Not because companies necessarily need dramatic increases, but because recurring revenue has become central to modern technology business models. Another surprising reason prices are rising is that consumers keep paying them. Businesses study customer behavior obsessively. They track cancellations, purchases, renewals, and engagement. If a company raises prices and most customers stay, executives receive a clear signal. The market is willing to accept higher pricing. This isn't unique to technology, it's basic business. Companies generally charge what customers are willing to pay. As long as demand remains strong, pressure to reduce prices remains limited. Technology companies understand this reality better than almost anyone. They're constantly testing how customers respond to pricing changes. Competition is also changing. Many people assume competition automatically drives prices lower. Sometimes it does, but in mature technology markets, companies often compete differently. Instead of competing on price, they compete on features, convenience, ecosystems, integration, and customer experience. Think about smartphones. Consumers don't simply buy hardware anymore, they buy ecosystems, apps, services, cloud storage, accessories, and connected devices. The deeper customers become integrated into those ecosystems, the less sensitive they often become to small price increases. Businesses know this, which is one reason ecosystem strategies have become so important.
Artificial intelligence is creating additional pressure. Although consumers mostly see the finished products, the infrastructure supporting advanced technologies is incredibly expensive.
Data centers require enormous investments. Computing power requires enormous investments. Research requires enormous investments. Many technology companies are spending billions of dollars preparing for the future. Those investments need to generate returns eventually. Pricing becomes one way to help achieve that goal. Even companies that aren't directly focused on AI are investing heavily in infrastructure, cybersecurity, cloud systems, and next-generation technologies. The cost of remaining competitive continues increasing. Perhaps the biggest reason prices keep rising is that the technology industry is maturing. The largest technology companies are no longer young startups. They're enormous global businesses. And mature businesses tend to prioritize profitability differently than growth stage businesses. Shareholders expect returns. Executives face pressure to improve margins. And businesses look for ways to generate more value from existing customers. Price increases become a natural part of that process. What once looked like a fast-growing startup strategy gradually evolves into a mature business strategy. And mature business strategies often involve pricing discipline. What's fascinating is that many consumers still think of technology companies as disruptors, companies that challenge traditional industries, companies that make products cheaper, companies that put customers first. In some cases, they still do. But many of these businesses are now among the largest corporations in history. Their priorities are changing, their investors are changing, and their business models are evolving. That evolution affects pricing. So what is the surprising reason big tech keeps raising prices? It's not just inflation. It's not just higher costs. And it's not simply corporate greed. It's the result of a broader transformation. Technology companies are shifting from growth-focused businesses to profitability-focused businesses. They're operating expensive infrastructure, investing heavily in future technologies, prioritizing recurring revenue, and responding to investor expectations. In other words, big tech is growing up, the industry is becoming more mature, and mature companies behave differently than startups, which means consumers are likely to keep seeing a trend that once seemed impossible. Technology getting better, technology becoming more important, and technology becoming more expensive at the same time. Because in today's digital economy, the biggest battle isn't attracting users anymore. It's earning more from the users companies already have. And that's the real reason big tech keeps raising prices.